In the last exercise, we have made use of this move command and also the open message for the pixel image to create a master image in order to let that particular image to follow the movement of the objects or subject in front of the camera. And for this one, I tried to remove those functions with this move command and try to implement another one which have similar effect but with a slightly different in terms of the response. And actually that particular command is an external patch. We give it a name. So we're looking into this type of things we call the subpatch, where we can create another Puredata objects and then you keep it in an external file and use that as an object similar to other built-in object within Puredata. So I have prepared an object with the name called slowmove. So actually it is a predefined object where you cannot find, for example, from the standard distribution of the PD or PD extended. And after the demonstration, we will look into how we can construct this particular form of external subpatch. So the operation of this one is we try to again to slow down the movement of the object following the movement in front of the camera in order to smoothen out the jerky effect of those motion. The first thing is it has the first inlet, we connect the X position, and then the second inlet we connect the Y position, and for the third one we need to, for example, in this case, have an metro objects. I will use this metro objects as some form of timer in order to calculate the distance for each frame the objects, in this case the Winnie the Pooh graphics, to follow the operation. I'll say, for example, using a metro with the 50 as a unit of measure, that is 50 milliseconds for each of the tick or each of the frame. And then I create the toggle to start and stop the metro objects. So that will go to the third inlet. For the last inlet, is a reset command. We reset the value within this particular slow move objects. And this particular objects come with two outlets. The first one will go to the SX. So this is the X position. We are going to move the Winnie the Pooh graphics. And the second one will go to the Y position. So this is the overall operation or connection we need to make use of this particular objects. And if you take a look of the folder we have been using to contain all those exercise here, you can also notice this particular file with the name slowmove.pd. So actually this is the implementation of this particular objects. So if you are using those objects or external subpatch within this particular environment, so all of them need to be in the same folder. Actually, you can use it to refer to them within. For example, in our case, we have lesson012c.pd and the slowmove object slowmove.pd. So they are all in the same folder. So if you take a look at this one, it will actually show you the connection or the connectivity which would have been used in order to implement these particular objects. So I'll go into the detail of this implementation later after we have seen the presentation of the objects. So in that case, we can try to have a look of the effect. And we activate the graphics. And in the very beginning, you'll see that the graphics won't change its position whenever, for example, you move in front of the camera. So this is because the implementation, they need to use a natural object in order to initiate the incrementation of those position values. So we start this one. So after we start the natural object, you can see the slight movement of the graphics. And again, you can use the same techniques to test the movement. You will notice that some sort of slight differences when you compare this one with the last exercise, the one we have been using with the smooth command. You can notice the change in the speed of the movement. So when you have a movement or motion in front of the camera, the graphics will start to follow the position of the movement. And the speed of the following, you can notice that in the very beginning, the initial speed is a little bit higher. So after it settled down, the speed also slow down when it comes to the final position of the movement. So those are the slightly change in the speed of the motion you can notice in this particular implementation. So everything has been implemented inside this particular patch. So it's a very useful way you can try to, for example, we use the term encapsulate, which means we package one of the function or normally used function into one external file, such that you do not need to, for example, take care of it. You only need to take care of the connection from the external objects like those number or metal or a band, and also the outward connectivity, that is the output to other objects. And you do not need to take care of the implementation within this particular patch. Sometimes it can also save some sort of screen area, because when you are working with very complex patch, so it's quite difficult for you to manage if you have over hundreds of those boxes moving around in the desktop. So it can be a good practice to put those which can be isolated into one single box, which perform one single function. So this is some of the good way we would try to make use of the subpatch with an external file.